everybody. Please welcome Most Valuable Promotions co-founders, Nikisa Badarian and Jake Paul.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're incredibly satisfied, happy, elated with what tonight ended up being, which was an electric performance from every single fighter on the card, and a tremendous finish to what may be the end of Ronda Rousey's career. Very, very appreciative for her coming to Jake and I, trusting in us to do this, and this is just the start. We're looking to get more structurally into MMA going forward. Tonight was a success across the board, no matter how you want to look at it. We are 4.5 years old. Look at any other company in the history of combat sports that's been in business for 4.5 years old. Compare us to that. We've never said we're a competitor with another organization. We actually said we can't compete at this point. We're too young. We funded it ourselves, no outside capital. But through hard work, dedication, and good intentions, we're in a great place and more to come. Jake?
God, dude.
Questions?
Doug Vasquez, Sports Illustrated. You just spoke about the overall success of the event. I wanted to get your thoughts on the last fight of the evening, Ronda versus Gina. I think MMA fans probably expected that's how it was going to go. What were your thoughts on Ronda's performance, and do you wish that maybe they stood and traded for a little bit?
Listen, I think it was a storybook ending if this is the end of her book as a fighter, right? To do her, I think, fourth finish under 35 seconds, never been done by a male or female. 3 was already the record, now it's 4. And she should share with you the injury that she had 2.5 weeks ago. If people were paying attention after the open workout, she was limping, right? So she's a warrior. I didn't know about it until Wednesday when I saw that. And she said, I eat injuries for breakfast. I got this.
And what are your thoughts on how Gina performed in that fight? I mean, obviously she went through a lot to even just get there. What did you make of her being in the cage again?
What an incredible story of perseverance, fighting through getting canceled. Like my partner here, they've tried to cancel him at least 47 times in the past 10 years, persevered through it. Gina showed you how you persevere through that. And I think she's just getting started, right? She lost 100 pounds, got into athletic shape. Now she has to decide if she wants to be an athlete again. And I think she has the opportunity to, right? Whether it's Ronda or Gina, I would love to see them fight Holly Holm. Jake, anything to add to that?
Yeah, you know, Gina's a warrior. We want to see more. We want to see more from Ronda. And, yeah, as a fan, it's bittersweet, right? She comes in with the armbar and finishes it really fast. It's historic. That's her signature move, takes it to the ground. But I also would have loved to see them standing up, engaging in the fight. But this is the fight world. You never know what's going to happen.
Hey, how you guys doing? Congratulations on a great night. This is David with Fight World Live. The event had a heartbeat. It was different than every single MMA promotion. Like, you can tell that people have the people that ran it, you guys, have a deep fundamental understanding of what MMA fans want, and you guys have an understanding of what this sport needs right now. What is the long-term strategy, and have you guys talked with Netflix? What's the overall strategy with growing this brand?
Yeah, the long-term strategy is whatever we want to make it. We're visionaries. We execute. We put in the time. We put fighters first, and we're here to disrupt. That's what we've been doing in the whole combat sports world. We did it in boxing, and tonight is an example of what we're going to be doing in MMA moving forward, breaking records. This is the most electric card of the year so far, and it's really all about the fans and the fighters and giving them the entertainment and the content that they want, and that's what I'm all about. I love putting fighters first, getting them the paydays, and putting on these insane events like this.
You know, we're always transparent and very forthcoming with what reality is, right? There's a lot of promoters in this game who make vast claims on what they're going to do or what they're going to achieve or the $25 million tournament they're going to do or the number of massive shows they're going to have. We've said the entire time unequivocally, this is a test. Let us see if this works. But if this works between his ability to market, my accountant background and understanding of the UFC, and Ronda Rousey is the face of our promotion inside and outside the cage, we feel like we have a good shot if tonight works. And guess what? It worked. It really, really worked. And you'll hear about those numbers, I'm sure, come Monday.
So I was going to ask about the numbers, but we could hear the crowd. It was ecstatic. Do we have any idea what locations could we see MVP MMA go next?
I mean, I think Jake sent out a tweet. One location we already have in mind. Sacktown or the Bay Area.
Right. I think we need to see a Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry rematch.
Yeah.
That was an incredible fight. Warriors, the bloodiest fight I've ever seen as an MMA fan. And so, Sacramento, what's up?
And do you like fighting or promoting more?
I love both of it, baby. I'm here to, help these fighters, build them. I love fighting. I love being a fan. I love supporting them. And, yeah, this is just a dream come true.
Josh Gross with SureDog.com. Good to talk to you guys. What's one thing that you took from your time with the UFC and Kisa that you may have implemented tonight? And what's one thing that you learned in your time with the UFC that you did not want tonight to be? And Jake, if you have any thoughts on jumping into MMA versus boxing, how is MMA different than boxing, and how do you see those two spaces?
You want to go first?
Yeah, a lot of questions there.
I can answer the UFC part. You answer the boxing MMA part.
Yeah, look, I think as a fight fan, you got to love all styles. I love boxing. I love MMA. And so it's all in the same spectrum. It's like tennis and pickleball. But there is, lanes to be open and different styles. And I want to be doing an MMA fight here in the near future. I'm going to focus on boxing right now. But we love promoting. We love working with fighters. We love helping the fighters. And this is what we do. And I've been doing these events and stuff and supporting the UFC even. People think we hate the UFC. It's like, no, we were fans. Now we're just giving fighters another platform. And so this is a special moment to grow the sport of MMA in a different way.
I would say one thing that, we try to implement in every show that we do is make sure the atmosphere feels like a party. Make sure people are having a good time so when they leave, they're saying, wow, that was amazing. I want to come back. And I had many people come up to us tonight and say, wonderful show. Loved every minute of it. Hope you do more. What we didn't do is very clear. We're all about the fighters. We put the vast majority of the revenue back in their pockets. And I'm happy to announce that every single fighter on this card who had a finish bonus or a performance bonus, no matter the outcome, is getting that bonus.
Dylan Osman, Low Kick MMA. Obviously, some news came out tonight just about the payouts, and the big news was that $40,000 was the floor for all the fighters who performed in the card. I wanted to ask, is that kind of the pay structure moving forward, and what are the contracts going to look like? Is it going to be more of an exclusive type situation like how the UFC has it, or are fighters kind of open to come and go and compete for MVP but also have opportunities elsewhere?
Yes, just kind of touch on the $40,000. Obviously, the UFC, has a very vast pay structure. What Jake and I have talked about in the past is that the 12 and 12 or the 12 and a half and 12 and a half doesn't make a lot of sense when you're making it to the NBA of combat sports, right? I heard someone do an interview and talk about basketball players have second jobs. There is no NBA player that has a second job. I can guarantee you that unequivocally. Now the same for the WNBA. I can guarantee you that unequivocally, right? So our 40 is meant to be a reference to the 12 and a half and 12 and a half. The reality is they can come and crush that, right? Jake put out a tweet 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, saying make the minimum 50,000, and I'll back off. And they could do that. They should do that. I hope they do that because that's good for the fighters. Makes it harder for us, right? We're not capitalized like them. They're worth $20-30 billion. So that's on the 40,000. And then in terms of what it's going to look like going forward, it really depends on our output cadence and what we're trying to build. What I'm happy to say is tonight, Francis Ngannou just became a headliner for another event, right? And he could fight the guy, he could fight Big Boy, or he could fight Rico if Rico does well against Usyk. We have a rematch in the works with Mike Perry and Nate Diaz. Makes a lot of sense.
We want Gina Carano back.
We want Gina Carano back. We have
and
Holly
if
Holm.
Ronda doesn't want to have babies, we'll have her back too.
So there's and one day, without a shadow of doubt, this man's going to enter the cage, the hexagon, and that's going to stop the world, right? Look at what's trending on X, formerly known as Twitter. Nate Diaz was number 1. Conor was 3. Jake was 4. Then it became Ronda Rousey number 1. Nate Diaz number 2, Jake Paul number 3, Conor number 5. So we have a special sauce here that we've created with this company, and we're looking forward to see what fighters want to work with us, and hopefully it's Netflix that continues to work with us on MMA.
Hello, gentlemen. Alejandro with Outkick.com. Speaking on what was trending tonight when the Conor news was dropped by Dana White, many saw that as a little too convenient in terms of timing with your
What
event
was the
tonight.
exact timing? Do you know?
During the Ngannou fight. So what do you say to many who saw that timing to be a little too convenient?
What happened?
So I was told it happened during Ngannou's walkout.
What happened?
Dana tweeted, he went live to announce Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway.
Oh,
I love
the cokehead is back. Nice.
Listen.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. Cool. Yeah, drop it during our event. Doesn't matter. That just shows how pressed they are. Little insecure boys trying to piggyback off of our event and try to put some news over top of us. It's not gonna work, buddy.
On the flip side, I'm super excited that Conor is back. He's, one of the most engaging characters in the sport, and I think it's good for the sport, right? And I've said this numerous times. The biggest fight outside of Paul Tyson that can happen globally is Paul McGregor. And hopefully Conor is back, and hopefully these two run it in boxing and MMA, and we shatter records all over again. So welcome back, Conor, and thank you, Dana, for bringing him back during the Francis Ngannou walkout. That's beautiful.
Hello, gentlemen. Giandra LaBeouf, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. Tonight I
Period.
saw... Period. Tonight I saw Chris Cyborg in the crowd, and I also saw Clarissa Shields in the crowd. You've mentioned...
Did you see Alicia Baumgartner in the crowd?
I sure did.
Thank
I saw her
you.
taking
Thank
pictures
you, because she's with
Marshawn
MVPW.
Lynch. Looking great. She was looking great, taking pictures with Marshawn Lynch. But what was interesting to me, I remember both of you said that you weren't able to make something work with Clarissa Shields on the boxing side. But she and Cyborg have had a lot of back and forth over the years on Twitter. Is there a space where they could come over and compete in a MMA-style fight, since Clarissa's done MMA before and Cyborg's been calling for her for a long time?
I wouldn't advise that for Clarissa. I think Clarissa's doing amazing things in boxing, and Chris Cyborg is one of the best female MMA fighters of all time, so I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I know they've talked about boxing with each other, but neither are associated with our company. We do hope we can bring a big fight that happens with Clarissa at some point, but she's signed to another promoter, and we respect that and wish her the best.
Andres with Squared Circle FC. Two-part question. When you guys were making this fight for Ronda and Carano, how big was the conversation of giving them a proper goodbye to the sport? And two, with the news of Ngannou calling out Jones, Jones on your broadcast said that his focus is to get out of his UFC contract. How realistic is that to make that fight happen? Thank you.
I don't think it's very realistic, because I don't think Dana is going to allow that to happen in any way, shape, or form, because they know it will be the biggest fight that can happen at the heavyweight division in a very long time, right? I wish it could happen, and I think John deserves that moment. I think the sport deserves that moment. I think if you look at the boxing landscape, co-promotion happens all the time. If you look at the MMA landscape outside of UFC, co-promotion happens all the time. If you look at the NBA, they go to Europe and play games against European teams, and they go to Asia and they play against Asian teams. They go to Australia, play against Australian teams. It happens all the time. The biggest moment the UFC has had in history was a co-promotion, right? It was with Mayweather and McGregor. Biggest associated event ever that Dana has touched in terms of revenue. So that hopefully is a door. That hopefully is a moment that can happen, and we're more than willing, right? There's no like hurt feelings. There's no, hey, we can't work with them because they take shots at us. Exactly the opposite. Let's do it and make it a moment that the world stops and enjoys these two men who are at the crescendo of their careers, probably, given their age and the wear and tear, right? Particularly John. The fans deserve it. The sport deserves it, and we'd love to do it. Right, Jake?
Yep. Let's make it happen.
Right here. Jorge Alonso, BroBible.com. Namo Fazil tonight. He went viral during the press conference. Tonight he won, called out Arman Sarukian. He got into it with Arman Sarukian. Can you just talk about his night tonight?
Jake is part Armenian, so he'll answer that question.
Yeah, I'm part Armenian. That's my brother Arman out there. I think that would be an incredible fight as well. But Namo put on a show. He's an incredible fighter. I think a superstar. You know, very rarely do you see someone who has that it factor, that X factor, and he really has that. And I think he has his fans behind him in Kurdistan. So I think we have a potential superstar on our hands, and I wish that scrap would have happened backstage. I was running up trying to Nikki, there's two sides of me. There's the business side, and then there's the fighter side. I was right there with Arman trying to get the squabble to happen, and then Nikisa stopped us, you know. So I got to listen to Big Brother here.
That is a true story that he was in the middle.
I was like, yo, let's run it. Let's run it.
All right, one more. Robelis de Spain, Cuban, Taekwondo champion, came out, knocked out JDS, a legend, called out Francis Ngannou. Just what did you think of his performance, and what do you think of his call-out?
Yeah, he's an incredible striker, and I think Big Boy versus Francis Ngannou could be the next main event potentially for Netflix MVP MMA. I think it would be absolutely electric, and both got first-round stoppages. So, you know, things are lining up for us here. We have a big pool of talent. There's a lot of big fights to be made, and we're just getting warmed up. There's a lot of hungry fighters out there who are willing to put on a show like Namo, like Big Boy, Francis. We want to bring Gina back. And
Saladin.
It's really, the future's looking bright.
Seriously, Saladin Pernas, what a performance, what an athlete, right? We were sitting there watching with Anderson Silva, who, thank you for joining us tonight, Anderson. That's a special athlete right there, and we hope to continue working with him. We want to look at doing an event in France with him and his promoter. So we felt like there was a lot of great talent out there tonight. It was very exciting. Even Jason Jackson, what a finish.
Brett Okamoto, ESPN. Nikisa, maybe I just completely made this up, but when the question was asked about John Jones, you kind of looked at Jake. Is there any more to the John Jones situation, or any conversations that you guys had that are behind the scenes that you could let us know about?
Absolutely no behind. I looked at Jake because I want him to answer the question because I know he's passionate about making it, right? Like that. You got to remember, I met this young man when he was 22. I didn't know who he was, just like I didn't know what the UFC was when Abu Dhabi bought it. They told me he wants to fight, he wants to box. I said, I don't know anything about boxing. I come from MMA. They said, yeah, but that's fighting. Just come meet him. And within 10 minutes of meeting him, he told me he wants to start a fighters union, right? Because he said the fighters need to be paid more because he's a content creator. He's the IP. He understands that he's the value. So my point is, when I look at him, it's because he's so passionate about trying to make these things happen. And I was hoping he'd kind of speak on making that happen. That's all.
Yeah, I just feel bad when John Jones can't get out of his contract to be a free agent, to be able to, you know, provide for his family. That's the real meaning behind these things and these fighters being tied up and not being able to pick and choose what they want to do, get the pay that they deserve. The fact that he wasn't on the White House card was very disappointing. You know, he's a true All-American, one of the greatest of all time, and just fell flat. So I feel for these fighters. I got to talk to him tonight, and yeah, he's upset about it. He's like, man, it just sucks. Like, he can't control his career. And I've just been pushing for fighters to stay free agents, to work with people like MVP, where, you know, these MMA fighters can go and box, boxers can go and do an MMA. And so I've been wanting to make John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, but, you know, it's just tough over there, and it just sucks for the fighters and for their families and for their businesses and for their legacy and all of it. You know, capital is king, and so when these fighters can't make money and they want to fight and they want to make the big fights happen, the fans lose and their families lose, and the fighters feel insufficient. So it really sucks, and yeah, hopefully we're here to make some change and make the biggest fights in MMA happen, period.
Brett, just to add to that, like, long-term contracts are okay if they're equitable, right? If they provide the appropriate revenue share. That's what happens in all ball and stick sports, right? And the reality is the UFC is now at a level of the ball and stick sports in terms of its revenue profile, in terms of its operational capability. So that's what the sport needs. And then why wouldn't John Jones want to be there for 5 years if he feels like he has market value? That's all it is. And again, we're kind of like bringing our end into existence by keep pushing that message, because if they want to turn it on and actually pay the fighters the right way, it's hard for anyone else to compete. That's the truth. But they don't feel they need to, and they're not going to, because they're a public company.
So just a quick follow-up, and obviously I was in the arena, so I couldn't hear this myself, but I think, I saw it in a bunch of different places on social media, is that John is on Netflix saying, hey, if these guys want to help me take a look at my contract. So, Jake, is that actually something that you would entertain? Is that something?
We don't want to get sued. They've been already sending out lawsuits this week. We don't want to get sued. No comment. Next question. Thank you, Brett.
Over here.
I'm going to use Claude Legal and review John Jones' contract.
Gabriel Gonzalez for Cage Side Press. Question for Nikisa. I spoke with PFL CEO John Martin, who spoke very glowingly about just his excitement for the event. I wanted to ask, with PFL and other athletes in other leagues, not UFC, the potential of co-promotion, just what would those talks look like to potentially have talent from other brands cross over to Netflix, and just how that might work in the future?
It's really interesting, because obviously Jake and I had a relationship with PFL where we were brought in to try to help the company, and I would say there was a transition period for them when we got on, and then they bought Bellator, and kind of the focus changed, and so we didn't really have the success that we would have hoped there, nor the access, to be honest, or the consistent kind of communication that would have allowed him to do the best of what he does. I will say I think they're doing some great things now under John's leadership. He's obviously a seasoned media executive, but more importantly, he's truly passionate about MMA. Right, much more than I am. Not more than Jake, but much more than I am. Like I'm not a boxing guy. I'm not an MMA guy. I'm a product guy. I'm a marketing guy, and I'm trying to disrupt and do amazing things and be remembered for building a legacy for the athletes. But like John Martin loves MMA. It's very clear. When I met with him in 2015, 16, when we were trying to sell the UFC, I walked away saying, like, that guy's entity should own the UFC. Obviously, they've done well with Ari and Silver Lake and KKR. But we'd be open to talking to them about ways of leveraging their roster, right? They do lack star power in terms of creating events that could do what we did here tonight with Netflix, but there's components of that organization that would fit nicely with some of our star power or people that want to work with us, so that would be welcomed.
And finally, just for Jake Paul, you've made the transition from just fighter to now on the promotional side. If Ronda Rousey came in and said, hey, what could my job look like at MVP to be that figurehead on this side, what would be your advice, and how would you see that job for her?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think she could be, helping all things fighter relations, fighter promotion, fighter marketing, and just helping us promote and sell these events and be a face of MVP MMA. And what better person than her? And she's an entertainer. It's in her. She's great on the microphone, and so I think it's a natural synergy that's going to align. And I hope Ronda sees that vision. I know she sees that vision to help fighters and give them another massive platform and to be a part of something bigger than just herself.
Right here, question about Saladin Parnasse, French media. Do you have maybe some names for the future for him? Because in France, a lot of people think he has the potential to the highest level. Do you have highest level guys to put in front of Saladin Parnasse for the future?
I think we got to sit down with Saladin, his team, and KSW to determine what that next step is. I do think he is a special talent, and hopefully the world got to see that tonight. I think France is going to wake up and really appreciate what he achieved. And look, my ideal scenario is we're promoting an event in France with Saladin headlining, right? Or Francis Ngannou fights in France when he fights Big Boy, and Saladin's the co-main on that. I mean, there's so many different variations and options. You could tell that guy loves the big, bright lights. He loves to perform, which is really important. I just want him to learn a little bit of English as well, which will help over here. But overall, look forward to working with him again.
Great to see you guys in France, and congratulations.
I'm from Brazil. Do you think of doing the MVP MMA in Brazil?
Yeah, we're going global, baby. Stop playing, Te amo.
Anderson was obviously at the event today, and he's never fighting MMA again. But if we do something in Brazil, we want to do it with him. He's he's the GOAT to me. In my mind, like, he was an unbelievable showman, and he's been such a gentleman to us. And for him to fight Jake when he did, and the respect he's shown us since then, we have so much respect and appreciation for him. We love the Brazilian market. I was fortunate enough to be at the UFC during our Max Brazil penetration with Globo as our partner with the Mourinho family. And so we want to go back there. And Netflix actually has the World Cup, right, the Women's World Cup. So we want to talk to them about how can we do both boxing and MMA to coincide on pre, mid, or post Women's World Cup.
José Aldo and Henry Cejudo are free agents. What do you think of fight between them?
I think Jose retired, no? So if they want to do that, happy to have that discussion, right, Jake?
Yes. Nikisa at BavaVaSports.com. Send contract.
All right, thank you, Nikisa. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you coming out.
Andreas is out there. Jake. Jake.
Il n'y en a qu'un seul qui traduit. Il n'y en a qu'un seul qui traduit, sinon on va s'embrouiller après.
Well, that was Saladin pass. Who wants to kick us off for questions?
Par ici, Saladin, félicitations, je vais devoir le faire en anglais. Congratulations for this amazing win. First of all, how do you feel yet? And is there a lot of pressure here? And when you were in KSW and here on Los Angeles, the pressure was different or it was okay for you? Est-ce que tu avais plus de pression ici qu'au KSW et comment tu te sens après cette victoire incroyable?
J'ai pas de pression, non, j'ai pas eu de pression. J'ai une bonne pression, on va dire, je l'ai pris positivement. Et l'atmosphère d'LA, LA c'est incroyable, hein. L'Amérique c'est incroyable, j'ai kiffé et j'espère revenir le plus vite possible. Je pense même rester longtemps ici.
So at no moment I felt pressure. I felt super comfortable. People treated me very kindly and openly. And it was an amazing experience. And I'm looking forward to come back here and have other successful fights, winning fights. And I would love to stay here as long as possible.
Et qu'est-ce que tu dirais si c'est l'UFC, si c'est MVP qui venait à toi? Parce que le boss a dit qu'il voudrait venir en France. Et est-ce que tu aurais un nom que tu voudrais affronter à Paris?
Welcome, hein. Welcome MVP. Moi, peu importe, hein. Moi, Perry, ça peut être pas bien, ça peut être bien. Donc, il a gagné contre Nat Diaz. Je serais partant pour l'affronter à Paris. Hein.
So he's open to it. He's very excited about the idea of it. And if Mike Perry wants to come in Paris and fight him, yeah, with open hands.
Merci et bravo. Salam.
Sorry.
Hello, Saladin. Combat Sports Today. Are you one and done, or do you want to come back with MVP?
Est-ce que tu as fini avec MVP ou est-ce que tu aimerais revenir?
If the offer is right.
Si c'est une bonne offre.
Moi, je pense que si j'ai un beau contrat et si j'ai l'opportunité de revenir ici, je reviendrai. En plus, j'ai kiffé l'ambiance, donc pourquoi pas, avec plaisir.
He's happy with the atmosphere and how things went through. So he's happy to come back anytime. And if it's a good offer, he's happy to showcase his talent as well.
And did you have any difficulty adjusting to the time zone?
Est-ce que tu as eu des difficultés à t'ajuster avec le jet lag et la condition?
Non, du tout. Je suis venu une semaine avant, donc j'ai pu m'adapter très vite. Et en plus, il fait beau ici. Non, rien à dire.
No, it was pretty easy to adapt. I came 2 weeks ago, and for me, I just came in advance to prepare for this fight and be ready, and I felt good the day of the fight.
Okay, last question. I saw you love LA, your walkout song, and just the whole atmosphere during the week. Do you plan to return for the World Cup?
Il a dit que tu avais beaucoup aimé Los Angeles. Tu as venu un son par rapport à LA, à Tupac. Est-ce que tu planifies de revenir ici?
Ouais, je pense que je planifie de revenir ici, ça c'est sûr. Après, le son avec Tupac, bah, nous, on a grandi aussi avec Tupac. Donc, Tupac, il a traversé beaucoup de générations et je suis content, ça s'est fait, c'est le destin, naturellement. Parce que ça a toujours été mon entrée de combat depuis petit. Tout le temps, je mets Tupac California Love et le destin a fait que je me retrouve à LA. C'est incroyable.
So for him, it was destiny that he put the song with Tupac California Love, because it's a song that he always used to put in any of his fights for his entries, and for him it was just like destiny, and he's happy that he was able to do that, and he will do it again. So it was for him very important to represent LA, and for him was the perfect person to represent.
How are you? Josh Gross with SureDog.com. What do you want to do? What's next for you in your mind?
Il a dit qu'est-ce que tu aimerais faire next, prochain, et c'est quoi que tu as dans la tête?
Bah, j'ai vu qu'MVP faisait des combats aussi en boxe anglaise, donc pourquoi pas enchaîner. Je sais qu'en France, je suis dans le top 100 mondial, donc si je peux faire un combat en boxe anglaise ou en MMA, je fais les deux, tout simplement.
He's open to it. Actually, he saw that MVP is doing also boxing, and he recently fight in English boxing. So if there is any offer for boxing as well, he's open to do it. He's here to fight and to show his talent. So if there is any fight and good opportunity, whether in boxing or MMA, he's open to it.
And you're obviously a very experienced professional. You're 28. You've had more than 20 fights. Do you feel, though, that this was your introduction to the wider world? The more people will know about you today, and if so, what does this fight in particular mean in terms of your profile?
Il a dit, tu as beaucoup d'expérience, tu as 28 ans, mais tu as beaucoup de fights. Est-ce que pour toi, c'était une manière de te montrer de nouveau, ou bien c'était un moyen de juste montrer aux États-Unis que tu étais un bon fighter?
Bah, c'était de montrer aux États-Unis tout mon talent, parce qu'en Europe, tout le monde me connaît, et là, il fallait que je traverse un nouveau pays, et l'Amérique, ça touche le monde entier, donc c'est une bonne chose pour moi. Donc c'est ce que je voulais montrer, tout mon talent, et je pense que je l'ai bien montré.
As you said, he's very experienced in Europe. He's well known and he's very famous. But for him, it was kind of like a new era, and he wanted to showcase his skills here in the U.S. because a lot of people don't know him in the U.S. But for him, it was kind of like a newborn fight, and for him, it was a good opportunity to showcase that.
Any last questions?
Who do you think your next opponent would be?
Qui tu penses sera ton prochain adversaire?
Peu importe. Moi, je prends tout le monde. Je n'ai jamais refusé un combat de ma vie, donc peu importe.
Whoever I can take down anyone, I will never turn down a fight.
Yeah, he said he is not turning any fight. So for him, whoever they present, he will take it. But as he mentioned earlier, he would like to fight a name like Mike Perry or any name in the U.S. So that would be for him very attractive, and I think will make a big fight here in the U.S.
Saladin, congratulations on a fantastic performance tonight. Dylan Osman, Local MMA. Excuse me, sorry. I totally just forgot what I was going to say. Oh my.
No worries. Right here. Gabriel Gonzalez for Cage Side Press. One of the things that was talked about is you fighting in an American league is the compensation that, KSW took good care of you and there was maybe not a comparable deal from the American leagues. Do you feel like this performance on this platform showed everyone that, hey, you are somebody that they should invest in and that you are worth the top dollar in the MMA world right now?
Il a été dit avant que tu prennes ce fight que c'était une compensation pour le KSW de te faire fighter parce que voilà,
Non, je pense que j'ai tout fait au KSW et je suis très content que Martin soit un de mes promoteurs et qui est venu du KSW ici m'accompagner. Je pense qu'il y a beaucoup de choses à aller chercher et je remercie le KSW pour ça parce que c'est grâce à eux que je me suis construit et ils m'ont toujours respecté. On a rempli des stades de plus de 70 000 personnes ou 80 000 personnes en Pologne. C'est quelque chose d'énorme. Je pense que c'est la plus grande organisation qu'il y a jamais eu, en tout cas pour nous. Donc je remercie le KSW, je remercie Martin Landogowski de m'avoir permis de venir ici.
So he said he's very grateful because he started at the KSW and he's grateful and thankful for Martin that gave him his opportunity in KSW. And KSW is a major organization in Europe. You know, you can fill up stadium with 50,000 to 60,000 people. So it's a big organization over there in Europe. And so for him, he's grateful for the opportunity and he's not going to forget where he come from and what he's done. And he's here for new opportunities. And, you know, if something comes up, he's here to fight and to showcase his talent.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey everybody, Mike Leonardi with MVP. A little bit of housekeeping real quick. Tonight's fight of the night goes to Pumi Nakuda and Adriano Moraes. And performance of the night goes to the one and only Francis Ngannou, who I'd love to welcome to the stage now. The lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou.
What's up, guys? Doug Vasquez, Sports Illustrated. Congratulations on the win. How did it feel being back in there?
Oh, it feels good. Feel like kind of remember myself. I have to remember myself. Like, okay, I do this right, and I can do it right.
What did you make up the build up all week to the fight? Because it felt like with these three main events that Philippe was the forgotten guy. Did you feel bad for him at any point, or like what did you make of how he handled his fight week?
Not that I feel bad for him. I mean, I think everybody was promoted very well. I saw even the fighter on the prelim card get promoted very well. So I think everybody get his spot. Of course, like Philippe wasn't the main guy, but he still get promoted, and then I think he was good.
And then last one for me, after this win, it seems like your options are wide open. You can box, you can fight in MMA. John Jones' name has been thrown around, Jake Paul. There's some buzz around the internet about Brock Lesnar. He just retired from the WWE. Have you heard those rumors? Is that something you've ever even thought about?
Well, I think a rumor been around. There have been so many rumors around. But at the end of the day, what's possible to do is the only thing that I focus on. And yeah, I want to jump back to the Felipe question that you asked earlier. And I mean, I think even though I believe that he was promoted, I think he's been underestimated. I saw like a lot of people like count him out. And the guy that I faced tonight, of course I won, but he was tough. You know, he was tough. He could eat some punch. I think he has a opening. He has a spot. If he has a fighter at some other guy, he can make a good statement. By the way, I think he's the guy that deserves the performance of the night. So maybe we should give the performance of the night to Philippe Lins.
Congratulations, Francis. Coming into the fight, knowing that John Jones was going to be here watching you, did that put any pressure on you to come in and just, kind of like want to run through Felipe?
No, absolutely not. Tonight, John Jones was just a fan watching the fight.
Perfect. My second question is, did you get to speak to Felipe after the fight?
No, I didn't get a chance to speak to him. We changed a few words in the octagon, but I didn't want to take too much of his time. I think he needs time with his people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Simon Samano with MMA Junkie. Francis, you've acknowledged that Philippe was a tough opponent. How did you feel in there physically? Did you feel like your conditioning was good to go farther than round one? If they had?
Bro, you have no idea. My conditioning was best than ever. Like, basically, after the first hit, and then he kept going, I'm like, okay. I think, by the way, I didn't know I was going to finish in the first round. At some point, I knew we were going round two. The fight was going on. And then I think I just clipped him at some point, but I was prepared. I'm like, okay, this fight is going, it might go to the distance or something, because this guy can eat some punch, So I was prepared. The opening just happened.
Earlier this week, you were asked about John Jones being in the building, and you said it was very interesting. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, when you got here to Fight Night, were you annoyed that he was here in the building, that you even had to, engage with him in any way?
No, I wasn't annoyed. Again, regardless of however I want to fight Jones, I think he's a great fighter, if not the greatest, and then I have a lot of respect for him. I wouldn't be ignoring if he's in the room, right? There is a competition, of course, but at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge what everybody is. It's not like a war. We are not in war. We are in competition.
And the last question for me, just to ask point blank, just how realistic is there an actual pathway to get to the John Jones fight? We know he's locked into a contract, but what is the actual pathway? Do you see it?
Well, I think it's up to John Jones, and I can give you some detail if you want. I've been thinking about it. If I was him, I don't know if there's a sunset on that contract anymore. And by what I know, he signed his contract back in 2023, so 3 years from now. So the sunset is 2 years from now. I'm just saying, hypothetically. You're welcome.
Congratulations, Francis, right here. Saeed from Combat Sports Today. I don't know if you noticed during your walkout, Dana White went live on Instagram and announced Conor McGregor's return. Did you realize that or no? And how do you feel about it?
And what the fuck do I have to do with that? So I should stop my workout and look what is going on with?
No, well, people during the week were saying that he was going to announce it.
I
don't
care, bro.
Okay.
Let's move on. Life goes on. I'm doing my stuff here. I'm doing good. I have no problem. Everybody can do whatever he wants.
And did you hear Robeles de Spain call you out after his knockout? And
Yeah.
what do you feel about that fight? That feels like an amazing fight right there.
You feel so? Okay. Then let's talk about it. I'm down to fight. And if you think he can handle, okay, why not?
Awesome. Thank you, Francis.
You're welcome. He did make a statement. He had a great finish. So after a finish like that, it's hard to argue to take something out of somebody.
Francis, Ali Sekbak, yes. First of all, you look so good, like you haven't fought yet.
Bro, I've been sitting in my locker for 2 hours, chilling, waiting. I have the same question. I have to ask myself at some point, like, did I fight today or was yesterday?
What did you think about the two other fights? You watched them.
It was fun. I'm supposed to be the fight before, right before a rounder, before, and then they announced the Jake, the Nate against Mike Perry, and then I found that fight so interesting. Then, and for some reason they bring the idea that maybe they should make me fight earlier. So because in Europe and in Cameroon it's gonna be like little earlier, not as late as I'm like, you know, if that means I'm gonna watch the Nick fight and Mike Perry, then I'm down for it.
And my last question. You're obviously one of the biggest punchers in history. Can you tell me the first time you ever knocked someone out? How old were you, and did you realize you hit so hard?
No, I mean, usually when you're in the fight, you don't really think of how hard you're hitting. You just, I mean, by the way, like I have to like think about it a lot to know that, okay, sometime when somebody falls, he might be hurt, you might not have to continue. And I'm very happy for my performance tonight because I didn't follow up. Usually I'll follow up because instantly I don't even realize that I hurt him, and I'll follow up and then maybe go with some unnecessary punch on the ground. You're welcome.
Francis here, Josh Gross from SureDog. 2 questions from me. First, what do you want? Do you know what you want next? What is that?
What do I want? Whatever is out there. I mean, I really have nothing special. I mean, if not maybe that John Jones fight, some big fight, but I really have nothing special. I just want to keep doing it as long as we go. If I have something, I do it. You know, I think I have done what could have been done.
And having Netflix attached to this fight, how did you notice that in terms of the attention that you received leading up to it, the feeling around the fight? Was it something new for you?
I would not say new. I would say he was even easier. You know, like usually I have to get like, oh, where do we watch the fight? Like in fight day, I will be in my hotel chilling, and then from Africa, Cameroon, they will be like, where can we watch the fight? I'll be like, figure it out. Like, I don't know, you know. And this time it was easy. I'm like, sign in on Netflix. Pretty easy. So, in fact, I didn't have to say that because a lot of people figured it out by themselves. So it was a lot of weight out of my shoulder.
Over here on the side.
Hi, Francis. Giandra LaBeouf, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. Now, as you make your transition back over into MMA, after spending time in boxing, your striking looked really, really sharp tonight.
Correction, not now. My last fight was MMA.
Well,
I fought in August 2024, was in MMA.
True. Excuse me. My apologies.
No problem.
Looking as you come back over, looking as you are in the MMA side and fighting a couple fights over on the boxing side, your striking looked very sharp. What lessons have you brought back over with you after spending some time in boxing, fighting against Tyson Fury and the other fights that you did over there?
Well, as I said, I never left MMA. I just crossed over to do boxing. And then it was an experience, a dream that I want to accomplish. But again, the boxing is different from MMA striking because the stand and everything is very different. You cannot afford to stand in MMA as you stand in boxing, or to box in MMA as you do in boxing, because there's takedowns, there's leg and all those stuff that you have to manage at the same time. So it's a completely different striking.
Francis, regardless of who you fight next, would you want it to be for a belt, or is being the heavyweight lineal champion enough?
I have a lot of belt. I need to make some space home to put some belt in. So whatever, and I have someone on my pants as well. So as long as it's a fight, you have to put a man in front and that can fight. Yeah, we can dance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Francis.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
What's happening? Y'all got your asses whipped tonight. I'm playing.
What's up, Nick?
What's up? Ellie Suckback, reporting. Let me know if I'm all fucked up, though. What's happening?
Hey, Nate. Doug Vasquez, Sports Illustrated. Obviously, the result didn't go your way. The fight got stopped. How disappointed were you that you weren't able to get back out there for the next round?
Yeah, I was mad, but I understand. My eye was leaking out a lot, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get that done out there. I don't think he would have got much more done either, but I was fucking. I was blinded by blood on the right side.
How did you feel physically overall from the opening bell?
I felt all right. I didn't actually feel good at all. I felt like shit. Yeah, you like that? I'm honest. I just started back in it. I just got back to MMA, and they were asking me how's it been. I'm like, I never was gone, but then as I got closer, I realized MMA is hard work. It's a lot of work, and I feel like I just started to callous everything up. You know, my body started to get hard, my legs started to get harder, everything started to move right together. It all started to fall into rhythm, and then it was time to fight. So the way it goes with this shit too, and it's like, and now I'm ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? Let's line up another one and get it going. And but that was kind of like a kickoff. Like, here we go. I wish I wouldn't have got banged up and took a fucking loss for the night or for the start of it. But I'm ready to get in action now. The show goes on.
And then last one for me, you obviously said after that you want the rematch with Mike. How soon do you think you can get back in there? And is that the fight you want, or are you open to other options as well?
Right now, yeah, that's that ASAP. Heal up and I'll start running on Monday.
Nate,
over here, David with Fight World Live. Win or lose, you're beloved in the sport. Yeah, your legacy is already written down. Do you feel like any sort of relief knowing that your chapter in the book is written? You're an MMA legend. I mean, is there like any as long as you make the fans happy, that's all that matters, or is there anything else or milestones you want to complete?
I got a lot of making up to do. I thought when I lost my second fight, I was like, all I knew was 2004. And all I knew was my record was already fucked. And all we knew was boxing then. And remember in boxing it was like, if your record's 10-1, you got a loss on your record and now you're shit, right? And so that's all you knew. And so I was 1-1, so I was fucking pissed right off the bat. Like, I'm fucked. I'm already got a shitty record because that's all you hear about records was for boxing. And I was pissed and I was depressed and stressed out about it for weeks and weeks and months. And then I told myself in my head, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just get 10 wins and everyone forgets this loss. So I got to just win 10 more times. So I won 5 fights in a row. And then I lost again. I'm like, shit, now I got to get another 10 wins to erase that one. So, and I felt like that since then, and I still feel like that now. So, like I said, the show goes on, and we're going to erase this from the memory of all you motherfuckers. And that's my plan.
And it seems like Father Time's undefeated, but you've been kicking his ass for years and years. You still look like the same Nate Diaz who will always be in your face and always be in the fight. But how long do you see yourself going?
That's what I'm saying. The show goes on, and I feel the same way as when I lost when I was younger. Same as the last time, and I don't have a checkout time. You know what I'm saying? This shit forever, and when I do check out, I don't need to be fucking crying about it to the fucking media and put my gloves down in the ring. You fucking go on to the woods and have your fucking life then. You know what I'm saying? That's like, what, you got to explain yourself why you're not fighting anymore, do whatever the fuck you want. So, but as of now, I feel like I got a long road ahead of me and a lot of shit to do. I got to make Richard Perez proud, Cesar Gracie, Ernie Reyes. I got a lot of people I got to make up for because I also didn't do a lot of things that I know they wanted me to do, but I had to do a lot of other shit that I needed to do, so I want to get right with everybody, and like I said, I got a lot of making up to do, a lot of shit to handle, and it's good. It fucking sucks, but it's in a good way. It's like, now I got something to do.
Nate over here. Josh Gross, good to see you, Nate.
What's up, Josh?
You've now made a career outside the UFC. I mean, you took that step to leave the UFC, you bet on yourself, and you've had some ups and downs. What would you say the experience has been like for you since you left the UFC? And, you know, you're your own man. There's no one like you, but do you have advice for other fighters in terms of securing their freedom and a life away from that?
Yeah, I would say if you have the if you're lucky enough to be in the UFC or on any big platform, take full advantage, enjoy the ride, and master that motherfucker to the max, and capitalize on it, and think about what you're gonna do. Fuck everybody else. Get your shit moving and make a lot of noise in the process.
Hey Nate, Brett from ESPN. How are you approaching the next steps? I mean, you said that now your body is ready and you're calloused, and now you want to just jump right back into it. We kind of, Jake and Nikisa have said that this is going to not be the first one. They're going to keep going with this. Like, do you see this as your home now? Like, where's your mind at?
We're already talking about the rematch in Cage, right? I thought that's what's next. Didn't they say that in the Cage? Rematch in ASAP, Sacramento, California, NorCal. Let's go as soon as possible. And I'm like I said, I'm running in on Monday. I'm just gonna heal up these cuts, and I'm ready to rock. I'm gonna be in shape though next time.
And then actually, just one more out of curiosity. That was a funny comment when you said that you don't need to be crying and laying your gloves down. What will the end of your career look like? How will we know when it's done?
You won't. This shit forever anyway. And then people will be like, you lost, you should hang him up. And like, isn't this the most violent motherfucker who just knocked out fucking middleweight champion Luke Rockhold and Jeremy Stevens? And who the fuck did he just be? Eddie Alvarez? Wasn't he the lightweight champion forever? And then, yeah, and he's popping, he's doing all this shit, fighting everybody. He's got fucking broken face and broke everybody's shit all over the place. So, you should hang him up. I just fought the most violent motherfucker right there. So, maybe I just need to fucking run a little harder next time and get the fucking job done. And if I fucking didn't, then you should hang him up. Maybe I just don't fight the most violent. Maybe I just fight the second most violent. People just like, maybe I'm done. I'm retired. Here's my gloves in the cage. And then they're like, I'm like, you should have just not fought the most violent nigga out there alive, and you would have been okay. And then the most violent, yeah. And it's like, he hung him up, and then he was like, a month later, I'll come back for 8 days. I'm like, didn't he just cry in the cage and retire? And then he'll come back for me. I'm like, bro, you just made a crybaby speech about retiring, the ending of your movie, but I'll come back for Nate. I'm like, don't come back on account of me. Fight yourself. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Nate, right here. Saeed from Combat Sports Today. Obviously, the rematch was talked about. They're saying they want to do it in Sacramento. What do you think about that?
That's my stomping ground right there. Let's go Sacramento, NorCal. Let's go Netflix.
And
we're going to Sacramento. We're taking fools out.
Saladin Parnis said he wants to fight you as well. Is there any interest in that fight?
Who's that?
Saladin?
I don't know. And we start talking names.
All right, and any thoughts on Max Holloway and Conor Part 2? Do you have any predictions on that fight? It was announced today.
No, that's going to be a good fight, though. About time. Shouldn't they have fought a long time ago?
Yeah.
In a rematch, right?
Yeah.
Because Conor was taking him down the last time, and they both did good. Yeah, that's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, Dana announced it while Francis Ngannou was walking out. So. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good fight.
Thank you, Nate.
What do you think about the fight?
It's way overdue.
Yeah, it should have happened a long time ago, right?
I think Max is going to piece him out.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
What's up, Nate? Destiny here with Cage Side Press. I know that you said that Mike fought kind of exactly how you expected him to, but what was the biggest challenge for you in there with him that you felt?
Well, fucking, he's fucking strong as shit, right? So he fucking throws like a wild animal. And I put my hand up like that, and he like fucking, I think he broke my goddamn finger. And when that happened, I started paying attention to it, and I started messing with it. So that jumped me up right off the bat. And I should have been concentrating more on the task at hand instead of what I had going on. And so that was another big problem for me. And then it just got too messy too early. And I forgot the question, but I should have fucked that fool up. Sorry about that.
I know that they're already working on the rematch, but since you said you're here and you're back, and you never left, but you're ready to get back to it. Is there any other names that you're interested in facing?
Right now, my mind's all the way on what just happened. So we're after him.
Okay, and then one last question. You said that you weren't like in the best shape, but it was talked about a lot this week that you were in, the best shape we've seen you in a while. So what was lacking in camp or preparation that had you
I
feeling?
didn't talk about that. You guys talked about
Yeah, we
that.
talked about that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I said it was talked about.
Well, I did all my push-ups. I did all my sit-ups and shit like that, but that shit don't matter. You better be running your miles hard and doing all the rounds in every aspect the right amount of time. Shit, I could have got a lot more work with my coach Rich, a lot more work with Ernie, my coach, and more MMA round. There's so much to do in MMA. You got to cover your MMA round, you got to do your boxing round, and your kickboxing round, and your wrestling round, and then your jiu-jitsu round. And you got to do your pad work to sharpen all that shit up, and then you have to make sure you're getting running, and then you gotta do your and then like boxing, what you know about that? That's just too much for you to ever comprehend. It's like I'm like, they say, I would say boxing is a part-time job, but it's way less than that. Boxing is fun. MMA, but I did feel like in the mindset, like I was like, I'm hardening up and I'm getting back to where I was when I was fighting actively in MMA. I think you start thinking correct, and like I said, just even that, it sucks that how the whole night went down, but it's like like, okay, now I got something to do, a lot to do, and I just went through it. So now it's like, okay, warm up's done.
Awesome. Well, regardless of the outcome, it's an honor to see you compete. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nate, it was like 3 main events in one card, but you probably brought 90% of the fans here tonight. Did you notice that?
Is that what you think? I don't know.
Yeah, everybody's wearing your shirt. Everybody.
Oh, right on. Hey, I didn't step out there, so that's cool. Shout out to the fan. Love for that, too.
So Mike Perry's watching you right now. What do you tell him?
Mike Perry right now. I'm coming for your ass. That's it.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, guys. See you next time. Fuck. I was sitting here like, dude, I don't know what y'all said, but thank God I'm getting. Because I was getting stitched up back then. I was like, fuck, I need to hit some weed back.
Yeah, for fight of the night, both fighters got 50, and performance of the night, Francis.
It's Francis definitely going to give the
I would take him at his word.
Oh, yeah, if he says it, he's going to do it.
Hey. Congrats, Mike. Congrats.
Get him, Mike.
You guys were all booing, man. You were all booing. Okay. Sound like everybody. What's up, everybody?
Hey, Mike. Doug Vasquez, Sports Illustrated. Congrats on the win.
Thanks.
You said you were going to take Nate to the beach. Do you feel like you accomplished that goal?
I guess I didn't. He's tough to get out of there. I guess. It's different, right? In a way, he was on the beach laying down, relaxing, enjoying himself.
Do you smell the odor from him being in here?
Oh, yeah, man. I could add to it.
What did anything surprise you from that opening bell when you stood across from him?
He was landing some jabs and stuff, and I was like, I got to move my feet more. I think I was working at a pace that, obviously I was bringing it, but I was thinking about 5 rounds because I was hitting him, and I'm like, damn, I feel like he's going to be here, but I don't know. Sitting down in the second round, I was like, there's no way it's going to continue. I knew. And sure enough, it was too much blood, man. I felt kind of bad. But that's my job. I'm good at it. I worked really hard. I trained really hard. I'm violent as fuck. And I can take it too.
Mike?
Hi.
Hi. When you have a rematch with Nate Diaz, is there anything you would do differently, or are you going to keep the same exact game plan?
Yeah, I think the game plan works the same. That's my MMA skill. Keep it at a striking position where I can land really nasty stuff that does a lot of damage. And there's other ways to get people out of there. So, yeah, I would do the same thing again. Why not? It was successful.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask anyways. Would you be considered fighting Darren Till in MMA or BKFC?
I mean, he's going to BKFC. I'm still good at that. I like that. So, but I like MMA too. I mean, I think the best welterweight in the world tonight. To be honest with you, I think I would have hurt anybody, damaged anybody. I made this weight crazy. I looked crazy physically. So, I think people going to be coming at fight offers, whatever. I can be ready to fight, but it's got to make sense. Like, I made noise tonight. And the crowd out here in Cali, the California crowd, was so cool. Even though they booed me, they showed their boys so much love. And I got to be there for that. So, whoever wanted to smoke, bro, I was the best welterweight in the world tonight, bro.
So if the remix with Nate doesn't happen, does Saladin wants to fight you too? Does that fight interest you?
I beat the brakes off that guy, but who is he? Tell him get his money up, not his funny up.
And how was the gas tank since coming back to 5-minute rounds?
It's great. I was ready for 5-minute rounds. I was ready for 5-minute rounds. I was, believe it or not. I was just thinking about Despania. I just had my hands down, like, shit, we're going to get there, and I can stop a takedown that way with my hands there, and I can throw punches from there, and, look how crazy good he is, and we're training in the same place, so I can pick up on some of that talent that he's got and maybe share some of mine.
Nice. And I saw you got Nike SBs for your whole team. They were pretty sick. Do you think you can make another pair for maybe a fan after the fight? That'd be pretty dope.
Man, them was kind of expensive, man. Shout out True Essence Customs, bro. So, yeah, I don't know, man. That was kind of expensive, and everybody was booing me tonight. So, I ain't out here buying presents for everybody.
Mike here, Josh Gross with SureDog. I mean, this is Southern California, Los Angeles, and they were really pro Nate. Nate was talking about taking the rematch up to Northern California, Sacramento, something that Nikisa was also on board with. that's even more enemy territory. Is that something that you would welcome or agree to?
Dude, it's free money, bro. I'm gonna win that fight. I would do the same thing to a lot of people. Elbowing them in the face and stuff like that in the head, everybody's gonna split open. Everybody's gonna bleed. So what are the fans gonna do to make it different in his favor? He looked trained up. I know he trained, so what are the fans gonna do? Jump me and stab me before the fucking fight? They gonna have to, and I don't want those problems. I got family. So it's not hate. It was just violent, man. I'm sorry. That's my job.
One more from me. You've fought on all sorts of platforms. Obviously, UFC's a monster in this business. What did the affiliation with Netflix, if anything, mean for you in terms of your exposure or how you may have gotten over with audiences that hadn't seen you before?
Oh, man, I haven't checked my followers yet. I hope some people follow me on Instagram. Everybody this week has been amazing. Working with MVP crew and Netflix crew, meeting everyone, and I was just trying to do my best for everyone that I could help, and we could make something work. So it's been a great experience. My second time working with Nikisa and MVP, and I'm happy to have made some waves tonight. I mean, thanks to my opponent too, him showing up, and he's a big dog, and he's been around for 20 freaking years. So much respect to my opponent, and I appreciate all the fans. And I'm a really mean guy in this fighting stuff, so if they want to offer me some fights, I'll fuck somebody up.
Mike right here. Simon Simano with MMA Junkie. One question from me. What did you think of Nate's punches? They okay. Maybe that answered it, but what did you think of them? Did they phase you? Does he punch hard? What did you think of his punches?
It was just more of a timing thing, like I said, with my feet. My feet had to move, but I was also pacing for fives. And, yeah, obviously nothing hit me that, he cut my eye. So he did something, but, to her, I think Francis would have to hit me with a right hook for that shit to do anything.
So he punched as hard as you expected, or not as hard as you expected?
Yeah, I guess, put me in there with somebody I expect to punch me harder.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congrats on your win tonight. You gained a new fan. Nate brought up your strength and your punching power. Is that something you worked on in training camp?
Man, we have a lot of tough guys at Fusion Excel in Central Florida. A lot of hard training, working with some of the best guys in the world constantly. And I always have this thing about me. Everybody knows that you don't know until you go with me how strong I am. I've always had this Flint water strength. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it. So let's get it. We got into it at the into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My dog. Shout out Mosaic, man. All right, everybody. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks so much. Shout out Platinum Tequila. Fight dirty. All glory to God. Amen. Yes, I do believe that so much. I just forget sometimes. Thanks.
I'm always right, dude. He asked me, and that he asked me, and he goes around and asks like 600 people. I'm like, dude, I told you.
I haven't listened to Doug.
I better triple check than get it right.
Rival media
He's right. He's right on YouTube.
He's trying to get you sued.
He's right. He asked me for a video. Oh, I asked him for a video. He gave me, and half a year later, he struck me.
Yeah, I believe it.
I should.
The two guys on the creative show for the next event.
Like we all do. Like if one of us is a lot earlier. Unbeknownst to me, like our higher up YouTube team saw it and put a strike on the video. But it's being handled.
They recall
How many strikes do you get? Do you get 3?
I'm not
Is it
sure.
one bad?
No.
It's out.
You get restrictions. You won't be able to monetize certain things. But it was a short. It's not like it
Never trust Petro Spencer.
Hello. It's my first time doing one like alone. Okay. So what's happening?
Congrats on the win, Doug Vasquez, Sports Illustrated.
Thank you.
Obviously, the lead up to this fight, there was a lot of goodwill between you and Gina, and I think the fight ended the way pretty much everybody was expecting it to end. But with all that goodwill, did it ever run through your mind, maybe I'll let her stand and trade with me for just a little bit?
No, not at all. Why would I do that? my husband and my kids are watching, you know, like I come from judo, maximum efficiency to minimum effort. You know, I told her, I said I wanted to try and, you know, give you guys a rowdy special tonight, and fortunately that's what I was able to do.
And then just speak about how much this fight and how much Gina means to you, because obviously you shared the embrace. There was all this stuff all week. What does she mean to you as a person in your career?
Man, I mean, she's The only person who could have brought me into MMA, and the only person who could have brought me back. All of this like prosperity in my life and success that I've had, like financially, all of that, it's thanks to her. I would have been hustling for judo clinics if it wasn't for her. But yeah, she just helped me like rekindle my love for this again. You know, I used to feel like such a huge wave of relief after a win, and I didn't even feel that at all tonight because I wasn't stressed out. I didn't have all this anxiety weighing on me again. And it was through this fight camp I kind of figured out the way I should have been doing it all along. And that's like another gift that she gave to me was this experience. This last year and a half has been so fun. I've had such a great time. It's the best camp of my life, and I'm so glad I got to end it like this.
And then last one for me, obviously there was a talk from the very first moment this fight was announced. You were very outspoken against your old organization, the UFC, and Hunter Campbell. I don't know if you know, but it seems like there was a little bit of gamesmanship on their part tonight. They announced Conor and Max rematch during Francis Ngannou's walkout. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's kind of catty. But it also shows that, you know, that they see MVP MMA as a threat, that they would, you know, do it in that moment and spend, like, do it at that time. So I feel like it's also a compliment because it elevates MVP MMA and makes they're declaring that they see us as a real rival. And I think that's such a compelling story, and now they're helping us tell it.
Ronda Oscar Willis with Mac Life. Part of this story for this fight was you being able to reclaim MMA from the ending that you had with the UFC and have a new relationship with it. After tonight and how special it was for you and this whole build-up, are you able to look back at your time 10 years ago in a different light now, or will that always be sort of locked away and this is how this individual moment is how you want to remember MMA?
I think, yeah, it's completely just changed my relationship with the sport. I was telling Trav afterward, like, I feel like a ghost was banished, and it's just lifted a weight off of me that I didn't realize I was still carrying in that way. And yeah, this is exactly what I needed, and that was closure.
I saw in Brett's article that you have like no UFC memorabilia or any mention of your time in the sport hanging up at your house. Is this one of those moments you can maybe put on the wall?
I don't know. I always kind of thought it was weird. Like in judo, you would see people that their house was like a shrine to themselves, and I thought it was kind of like odd, you know. But the commission gave me like a framed like little sheet or something, like the official commission sheet. I might put that somewhere. I don't know, but I'm not like gonna go out of my way to like make and frame something to be like, look how cool I am. I know. I need more room for like baby art.
Right over here. David with Fight World Live, and congratulations on the performance. You said at the very beginning of your career that you want to retire undefeated, and you could have done that. You became bigger than the sport, but you took so many risks in your career. You fought when you were taken in 50 million different directions. It seems like you now retire better than when you found the sport. Do you feel that vindication that and in contrast to your original idea about retiring undefeated, is this a storybook ending that you wanted?
I think this is much better than retiring undefeated. I think I didn't really learn until I, went into pro wrestling and saw that, if you retire with the title, you take all of that equity with you. And it would have been to the detriment of the division if I did that. And I think that's part of one reason why the 145-pound division is gone in the UFC, because it retired with Amanda, and I think it needs to be passed on, and that was a really selfish goal for me to have, and it was I'm glad that I was that that my equity was able to live on past me and continue to give credibility to the division. And if I retired undefeated, I would have taken the credibility with me. And so it was the best thing for the sport.
And do you plan on sticking around because, again, you're such a polarizing figure and you can do so much good. You could do even more. And it's selfish for me to ask, but are you planning on sticking around MVP? And do you have to beg?
I don't know. You know, we'll see how tonight did. We'll see if they want to continue. And I don't know. I'll see what kind of role they would have in mind for me, and if that fits with my plans for the future.
Round it back here, Andreas Hale, ESPN. Kind of piggybacking off of that, because you did play the role of promoter this weekend. How did it feel to be able to promote an event and the idea of being a mouthpiece for MVP? They said they want to continue to do this. Is that something that interests you after you have babies, of course?
It's interesting. I don't know if I can really commit to it because I don't really know exactly what that would entail, you know, how much they would want me to be around, how much they would want from me. But it would definitely, if it could somehow fit with my time with my family. We're going to be moving to Hawaii. And so it depends on how much of a time commitment they would need from me. But if there's a way to make it work, I'd be open to figuring something out.
Last one for me. I mean, kind of going off of that as well, maybe it's not as much of a commitment of time as just being a face of this company and helping promote. Is that something that you could do if it's not that much of a time, knowing that you can help the future of MMA by helping basically a competitor to your old company?
Sorry, people freaking keep calling me. Sorry, what was the question again? I'm so sorry. I'm going to put this on Do Not Disturb. This is distracting me.
That's what happens when you win.
I know, right? Get blown up.
No,
So.
I was saying if it's not that much of a time commitment, just being a mouthpiece or on social media or whatever it is, because ultimately you're helping build something that is a second option for fighters who didn't have an opportunity to fight somewhere else and make some good money before. Is that the part that interests you the most about this?
Yeah, I think that that the UFC needs competition. It's the best thing for them, and I mean, I think MVP would be the best, you know, organization for that role. And I want to help, but yeah, I forgot. I don't even have weed as an excuse this time. Yeah, it is, baby. I'm even getting the second hand right now. But yeah, I think even if I don't stick around, I really hope that MVP does in MMA, because I think it's important. And this event, it was incredible, and it breathed new life into the sport, and just like it just felt like the magic was back. You know, like Burt Watson gave all of us like a pep talk yesterday at the weigh-in, and everybody was like, you know, like circled around together, and it felt like we were really coming together, that this is the spearheaded by the fighters. And I think it's important, and yeah, I would love to help, but I think they could do it without me, just not as well. Because one thing I realized throughout this, I'm like, man, I'm really fucking good at promoting, and I was actually having a good time with it. So, but I don't know. I just know it from the role of a fighter. I don't know it from the role of a promoter. So I guess we'll just have to see.
Rhonda here, Josh Gross with SureDog. Just wondering about today. Did it feel like getting back on a bicycle? Sort of how different was this at all, or how familiar was it for you?
It did feel like getting back on a bicycle, but it was so different because I just didn't have as much anxiety as usual. Like usually I would try to have a silent locker room and be like serious and all this stuff, and I was fucking just blasting Tupac on the way to the arena and going through my old neighborhood and just having just a great time. I mean, like, man, I'm fucking great at this, and I'm gonna fucking kill it, and this is the last time I'm gonna be able to experience this. And I was just taking it all in for the first time instead of just powering through it. And I'm so glad that I got to experience it the right way, even if it was just once before the end.
You're no stranger to attention. You've had the biggest platforms. You've participated with them. Netflix, what would you say that relationship was the experience for you? What did you get out of this Netflix partnership? Because everyone knows who Ronda Rousey is. So did they elevate you in any particular way? What do you think Netflix can do for mixed martial arts?
Oh, I mean, the production for this has just been incredible. You know, like the countdowns that they did. I mean, the press conferences, even the weigh-in. If you looked at the arena and the cage, just like the monitors on the platform, it just they did Netflix made everything like A-class all the way, every step of the way. Like they went all in, and just with advertisements and the Randy's Donuts and we partnered with Capcom to make Street Fighter themed shirts. Like I miss cool MMA shirts. I'm so glad we got to do something like that. And it was just I think what Netflix brings to the table is they really put the effort into making this one event feel like a premier event, and just everything was like the best it could be all the way.
Hey, Rana, congratulations on the victory back here. So when Nikisa was in here earlier, he said that you guys don't even know about the injury that Ronda Rousey went into this fight with. So and he was like, I'll let her describe it. So was that a parting gift that MMA gave you, that you weren't even healthy going into your final fight?
Well, yeah, I sprained my ankle or foot pretty bad like 2.5 weeks ago. But, it just made me think of when my first injury as a kid. I broke my big toe in judo, and my mom made me run laps around the mat for the rest of the night. And she said, you don't know if you're going to get hurt on the most important day. You could get hurt the day of the Olympics. So you could get hurt when it really matters, and you need to know that your body listens to you, not the other way around. And man, I was like, thanks for the trauma, Mama. Yeah, because right when it happened, I'm like, I had 2.5 weeks left, and I'm like, well, looks like I'm doing this with my ankle messed up. And but I basically have never had a fight where I wasn't injured in some way. I didn't ever pull out of a fight because I'd never been injured. I never pull out of a fight because I always fight anyway. And so that's just part of it. And when it happened, I'm like, this is part of it, and I'm the fucking best at this. I pushed through, and but yeah, I definitely was trying real hard not to look hurt at the open workout. I was definitely trying not to look like I was holding myself back, and I really re-aggravated it again, and I had to dig deep this week. And I was trying so hard not to limp, and at the weigh-ins, it was in the morning. It's usually the worst in the morning. In the morning, I was like trying so hard not to visibly limp in front of people. So, but hey, I slipped it in there. I got it done. I got it done anyway, and no one was really the wiser. So, but I think that's just part of performing at the highest level. You have to push through.
I don't know how much you'll have to say on this one, but obviously so much of the talk building up to this one was on fighter compensation and just the revenue split. And then you had even told me that it was, a goal of yours to set new standards, for women's MMA and women's combat sports. What can you say about your compensation for this fight? And the number came out from the California State Athletic Commission, but we don't know if that's, all of it or a portion of it. What can you say about your compensation for this
fight? Compensation? Well, I was compensated not just for my fighting services, I also was promoting this event as well. So I think it's literally on the contract that I'm not supposed to tell people, but I'm very, I'm very happy and very grateful, and me and my husband are going to go house shopping in Hawaii after this.
And then last thing, you said your phone was going off. I'm very curious. Are any of those from Dana White? Did you hear from Dana White since the fight?
He did send me a text this morning. He sent me a text and he said good luck and that he hopes me and Gina kill it. And I just told him how much it meant to me to hear that from him. And yeah, he's been an incredible friend to me, and I'm here because of him, and I am eternally grateful, and I really appreciate him, giving me his blessing to go out and do this on my own.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Great article, by the way.
Jorge Alonso, BroByWall.com. There were a lot of great fights tonight. Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, Francis Ngannou. I know you were busy tonight, but did you get to watch anything backstage?
Yeah, I was warming up at the same time, but I was peeking over.
Any thoughts on the fights tonight?
I love that we had so many finishes, and yeah, I'm really, really proud of how everybody did, and I'm so incredibly grateful to Francis and Nate and Mike and Felipe for sharing that top spot with me and Gina. They can definitely headline without anybody else, and the kind of humility that they show to share that top spot with us, it's really humbling, and it's such an honor, and yeah, I'm so grateful to them, and I feel like for all the fights that I saw on the card tonight, it reignited my love for MMA again, watching it as a spectator. It was a great time, and man, I saw some great performances.
All right, last one for me. You talked about changing the MMA landscape. John Jones was here tonight. He talked on the broadcast about wanting to get out of his contract to fight Francis Ngannou. I just want to say, do you have a message for him or any thoughts on that situation?
I mean, I think it would be incredible to promote the two of them, but yeah, I mean, it is such a shame that he's stuck where he's at, and I feel like if you're an independent contractor, you should be able to be independent, and I think it's unfair that he's not paid as an employee, but he can't go out and work for whoever he wants. It's I don't know. I just feel like it's wrong to hold him hostage like that, and I don't know how long is left on his contract, but do you know? 3 years. Yeah, it's a shame. I feel like if you're an independent contractor and you're not an employee, that you should be able to fight wherever you want. But that's not up to me.
Rhonda, congratulations over here. Congratulations on your performance tonight. I've had the honor of covering your career through the UFC, so I was personally really excited to see you come back. So congratulations. I just want to ask though, you've been an athlete your whole life, a competitor. You want to have another baby now. But after that, do you foresee a moment where that competitive sort of mindset comes back in and there's something, whether it's MMA, whether it's boxing, whether it's any other form of sport you foresee yourself wanting to do in the future? In other words, are we going to get to see you compete again at some point in something?
Oh, man, it's just, well, thinking 2 more babies. But, oh, God, that's the thing that sucks. I'm just so good at everything. It's there's just, I feel like there's just a point where, you could always do more. And, but I would totally kick ass at combat jiu-jitsu, just saying. But, no. I'm good. I'm not gonna. I don't think so.
Watch this space. And just lastly, I wanted to ask, you talked about sort of blasting the music on the way to the arena, but when it came down to your hands being wrapped and walking out towards the cage, what's going through your mind at that point? Could you take it all in? Are you feeling nostalgic? What are the thoughts and emotions?
Oh, I was loving it. I was thinking I'm the best in the fucking world at this. And that I'm meant for moments like these. I was raised for moments like these, and this is what I do better than anybody else, these high pressure situations. And yeah, I just felt like I was doing exactly what I was meant to be doing. And it was a really amazing feeling to have again. And I was just trying to absorb it and take it in for once. And I'm so glad that I did this. But you know, I'm ready to move on now, and now without any doubts. You know, now I can like move on and know that this is the right time, and I'm just so ready for what's next.
Just right here, Ronda. Since you left the octagon 10 years ago, we didn't saw any woman in MMA getting close from you in terms of hype and greatness. I want to tell, from your words, do you know why there is such difference between you and other women athletes in MMA? And if you got an advice for the future MMA star, rising star?
I would say you have to promote as hard as you train. And not just the women, but a lot of the men, like a lot of the men, most of them. I think they just want to be able to show up and fight, and I understand that. But this is not the Olympics. You don't get to just show up and do your job and go home. Your job is to get people to watch you fight, and I think promotion is a form of storytelling, and you have to figure out like what is the story that the combination and me and this other person tell, and figuring out how you're going to convey that to other people and make it resonate with them. And like this fight was so unique because of how much love and respect I have for Gina, and I couldn't tell a generic, fuck you bitch kind of a story with her. And so you have to think, I think you have to think of what is the matchup of me and this other person bring to the table that's entirely unique, and get people to hook on to that. And I think that a lot of them don't put any thought into, stuff people are going to ask you a lot of the time. If somebody says something about you, that someone's going to ask you about what that person said, so you're like, okay, let me be prepared for that. Let me have in mind what I'm going to say. Other people ask me, like friends and stuff ask me stuff that, like, what do you think about what so-and-so said? I'm practicing on them. I'm like, well, fuck them because this and that, or whatever. Trav's heard me say cleft lip Lincoln several times in the kitchen before I said it. But yeah, I think you have to prepare for those moments and prioritize that. And I think a lot of people just look at press and promotion as if it's something that's inconveniencing them instead of something that really is the majority of your job.
Last one for me. At the second, the official weigh-ins, we saw you switch in fighting mode as back in the days when you walk out as well. Wasn't not so difficult to switch in fighting mode with all this good energy all this week with Gina?
Oh hell no! Like the flipping the switch is like one of the best thing, like one of my best attributes. And yeah, I don't need to hate somebody to give them the best that I have. But yeah, my mom used to make me actually go to sleep between matches at judo tournaments, and she would wake me up from a dead sleep and be like, okay, you have to go. And I would wake up from a dead sleep, and then I would go and fucking try and beat the shit out of somebody. And she would famously jump on me while I was dead asleep and try to armbar me in my sleep. And she just taught me, she's not only is she a world champion in judo, she also has a PhD in like educational psychology. So she knew just how to fuck with me to get those kind of responses. So I've literally been like trained and conditioned my whole life to be able to flip a switch and go from like having a good time to, kill mode.
Hey, Ronda, right here. Gabriel Gonzalez, Cage Side Press.
history in the UFC for MMA, history in the WWE. Now you talk about I'm gonna go ahead and just grow my family. When you step away, you tend to be very private, and I wonder, you've obviously made all this history. You get these big platforms, and you're very good at being, a public figure and promoting and everything. At home, do you ever just miss it? Is it ever just the noise, the crowd, the attention? How does Ronda Rousey get up every day and not have these big goals to kind of motivate her?
Well, I have goals. I do have big goals, but they're not always, for the public and other people to see. And yeah, I mean, fame and all that kind of stuff, it's a hustle. I don't enjoy making social posts every day. The collab button is the best fucking thing that ever happened to me. I'm like, collab. I ain't doing shit. 'Cause it's work and you have to put thought into it and stuff like that. And so people are like, where are you? Where have you been? I'm like, I just don't feel like posting on social media. I'm not going to go out of my way to give interviews if I don't have something to promote, And so, yeah, I mean, being in the spotlight, it was never a goal. It was a tool to help me accomplish my goals. And so it's fun, but it's not it's just so much more fulfilling for me to be, with my family and spending time with them and being a mom and all this stuff. And I don't feel like I have to be witness to be validated.
So there's no if Ronda Rousey doesn't compete again, years down the line, you're not going to feel what do? I need to be the first, woman to do this now, first woman to do that. There's none of that eats at you when you're just at the house.
No, in fact, I think I'm at the perfect level of famous right now. I don't want to get above that anymore. I'm right at where I get to go to the grocery store again, but they take it easy on me when I get pulled over by the cops. So I'm really happy with where I'm at, and I've firsted pretty hard. I'm not really I think I'm pretty satiated when it comes to that. Because after a while, it's when are you going to be impressed enough with yourself? And achievement hoarding is I think a little bit of an issue just in our whole family. But I also have other things in my life that are giving me fulfillment now. I think when I was a bachelorette before, I kind of always needed that to I don't know, fill some kind of hole in my soul, but now my hole's filled. Oh, man. That was my husband laughing the loudest in the back right there. And I found him yeah, yeah, you. Anyway, on that note,
Rhonda, Alex Buena with MMA Mania. Most MMA fighters don't get to retire on a win, and then considering what happened in the UFC and you coming back and ending your career on a win, what does that mean to you?
Man, I mean, this was just the best experience to walk away on, and yeah. It couldn't have been better. The whole build, my opponent Gina, and it was just it was just kind of a feel good experience all the way around. It was a feel good story. It wasn't every time I had to come to a press conference, I'm I gotta fucking talk about this bitch and and be in front of this fucking cunt and all this stuff, and I'm helping out this bitch, and it was oh well, I'm actually helping out someone that I really love and care about and enjoy spending time with, and we have great chemistry and stuff like that, and it was great, and it was and she knows how to dress and present herself, so every press conference it was just a fucking runway. We're well, who's gonna we're just getting progressively hotter, so let's just. Yeah, it was really fun. It was playing dress up at the same time and promoting, having fun with it, and taking everything I learned from pro wrestling and bringing it back into MMA promotion was really fun. and cutting some fucking promos and going out and in like my hometown and having a match like that. Man, it can't get any better than that. I've peaked and I'm walking away. Thank you. Thank you guys. Actually, last time I pulled over, I got a ticket because Jessamine Duke. I got pulled over because there was something going wrong with my car, and I usually have tinted windows in a higher car, and I was on my fucking phone. I was actually talking to Trav, and then I was like, da-da-da-da-da. I look over, the cop's looking right at me. I'm like, oh, fuck! And so then he made me pull over, and then he pulled over, and then another cop car pulled over. I'm like, oh, this is good or bad? And then I get over, and he's like, hey, do you know Jessamine Duke? I came to the call one time that she like got in a fight with a bunch of people, and she got hit with a baseball bat and all this shit. And I was like, oh yeah, I am great friends with Jessamine Duke. He's like, okay, cool, stay off your phone. I'm like, cool. So yeah, that was because of Jessamine. So thank you, J Duke, for getting me out of that. Thank you guys.